afternoon, everyone, and happy Thursday. Welcome to Stock Market Today. Alyssa Corum and Ken Shreve here with a breakdown of the action from today's session, where we're going to talk about the major indexes. Small caps lagging pretty badly today here, Ken, but we have some really interesting names that we want to highlight.
Yeah, absolutely. The security software group is just filled with a lot of leaders. So let's take a look at CrowdStrike, which is a leaderboard stock. We'll also take a look at a nice breakout for Horizon Therapeutics and end it with a discussion of a recent new issue that is holding gains nicely, Global E Online.
Well, let's do it. First, let's check in on the major indexes. Here is the NASDAQ, which had the best gain today, up about 0.4%. The S&P up 0.2%. The Dow up a little less than 0.1%. And the Russell 2000 down 1.5% today, Ken. But for the other three major indexes, so small caps aside, looking pretty good, extending gains after that downdraft that we saw that, at least for now, was relatively brief.
Yeah, well, it was brief. A sharp sell-off, a gap down for the Nasdaq on Monday. There was some volume behind that downdraft. It did close up near its session high, but a pretty big percentage decline. Now we have three straight gains, and volume is getting lighter and lighter and lighter behind each rally. So we kind of have to be just accustomed to the fact that we're in the summer doldrums, and we're going to see a lot of low volume rallies. That appears to be happening with the Nasdaq. Sometimes that makes for a bit of a shaky foundation, but we're still in an uptrend here. 3 straight days of bullish gains. The IBD 50 index of leading growth stocks has outperformed nicely for 3 straight sessions. So for growth investors, there's still a lot to like out there.
And for those who were reducing exposure as the NASDAQ was getting extended or maybe even pulling in a little bit, buying opportunities that we're seeing this week, even though there are a number of them from a portfolio management standpoint, with everything that you said, Ken, it feels like it's not the time to be super aggressive right now.
No, exactly. I will say on Tuesday, when the market recovered from Monday sell-off on the Nasdaq in particular, you did get a higher volume gain. So actually a time. So okay, well, if there's some stuff out there to buy, maybe I'll nibble with a 2-3% position. Just try a stock on for size, but we've been discussing on IBD Live. It's not like opportunities are plentiful out there right now. There are setups that emerge here and there, but you want to be treading cautiously. It's okay to be 70% in the market with a 30% cash position. You don't need to be 100% in. You certainly don't need to be on margin, but the market over the past 3 days has shown that buyers are still around.
And it's okay to be selective as well. We want to be laser focused with our buy spots and making sure the stocks that we're focusing on have all those technical qualities that we like to see when we analyze the price and volume action and relative strength and the fundamentals as well. So how does CrowdStrike stack up? The stock gained about 3.7% today, a strong move higher, and CrowdStrike, along with group peer Zscaler and fellow software names like DocuSign, has been on the move since May and presenting potentially a buying opportunity this week.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the stock is still actionable here. We actually increased the position a little bit in the leaderboard portfolio today. So it's still kind of right in that blue zone there, based on that 251.38 buy point. But when you swing over to the weekly chart here, it just doesn't really look like you're buying an extended stock. It's kind of near the top of that 5% buy zone. But I love. We talked about this with Sprout Social on yesterday's show, SPT, that a stock that just kind of came down, retested a buy area, and kind of bounced right off that 10-week moving average. So I think the technical action in CrowdStrike is really good here. The stock looks actionable to me. It's got a relative strength line near new high ground. So this is clearly one of the leaders in the security software group. And you look at these estimates for CrowdStrike for fiscal 22 and fiscal 23, just big growth. So this is a stock that sells at a high valuation, but it gets a high valuation because it's growing like gangbusters.
Yeah, strong financial performance, a great track record there. So a lot of great elements that we like to see, Ken. And now let's turn our attention to HZNP having a really great week of its own. And it stands out in the price action over the last several months. So up 7% for the week with less than 2 weeks away from earnings, Ken.
Yeah, so doing a little digging here, trying to find out why revenue was down. I think it was a one-off event. You can see after many quarters in a row of big sales growth, revenue was down 4% in the first quarter. So I assume that's a one-off event, and they'll return to revenue growth. But did like the breakout today. The relative strength rating of 74 is a little low. We really like to focus on the real stocks with high relative strength ratings, and the relative strength line might be lagging a little bit. But since that long consolidation that started back in earlier this year, the relative strength line is kind of poking up against those highs. So this was a nice breakout today. The daily chart is going to show it even better. It broke out over that recent high of 98.33, came close to a breakout over a trend line yesterday, but good volume in the stock today with the breakout still in that 5% buy zone.
And globally, GLBE, a recent IPO with a hot move since its debut in May, consolidated for a little bit. Its all-time high was on a day that it saw a pretty severe downside reversal, but it is moving higher today. And it looks like today it was able to achieve a new closing high with a gain of 8.2%.
Well, I had to mention a new issue, that recent IPO that is doing well, just to give a shout out to the webinar we're doing next Tuesday. Justin Nielsen and myself are going to be doing a webinar on just everything you need to know about IPOs, and I'm sure we'll be talking about global e-online. They offer this is basically a cross-border e-commerce platform in Israel. Shopify actually has a small stake in this company, but yeah, the reversal last week was definitely disconcerting. The stock is prone to some volatile price swings. So what I'd like to see the stock do is just kind of hold below last week's high. We'll swing over to the weekly chart and kind of smooth things out at least a little bit. But if it can just kind of form a base here below last week's high and just kind of hold on to these gains, I think you get a nice opportunity to get into the stock. I don't think it's actionable right here, but part of this webinar is just going to be having a watch list of new issues that have the fundamentals. And Global Online's got triple digit revenue growth in recent quarters. Not profitable yet, but it's a pretty compelling growth story here. And going to wait and see this can base for a little while, and maybe get a new entry.
One down week since its debut, Ken. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, it's another good point. And the fact, we looked at a stock recently, I think Asana, ASAN. This kind of reminds me of Asana stock that just kind of, just broke out powerfully and held gains after that breakout, showed strength and support. So, yeah, Global E-Online kind of reminds me a little bit of that. Just made an explosive move from the IPO and is trading, tightly, trading not necessarily tightly, but just holding gains and back near highs.
Yeah, holding a huge gain there. Okay, Ken, we really look forward to that webinar, and you can check it out and register at investors.com/webinar. And we will see you back tomorrow morning on IBD Live, where we will be joined by our special guest, Kathy Donnelly, co-author of The Life Cycle Trade. And speaking of IPOs,
I know, right?
It'll be really good.
Somebody who knows just a little bit about the IPO market.
Exactly. So yeah, from the last time we had her on, there have been a lot of new tickers that we've been talking about. So it'll be really interesting to get her thoughts.
Absolutely.
Thanks so much, Ken. And yeah, and we will see you all back here tomorrow.